Story time. This is the Men of High Value channel. My name is Joseph Darling. Today we're discussing my successes and failures at an early age when I was trying to get rich. And you're probably in the same situation right now watching this video, wondering, what should I do? What are the decisions that I need to make? What type of business should I build? Should I get jobs? How many jobs should I get? How much should I work? Should I go study? Should I have a girlfriend? Should I be spending time with these friends of mine, etc., etc., etc.? You probably have a lot of questions in your mind. Hopefully, all of those questions have been answered by watching this channel, but if they haven't, hopefully today you'll get some clarity. I was a religious zealot, okay, at an early age, and at age 18, that was the only thing that was on my mind. From age 19 to 21, I was a priest and a theologian who basically preached the good news of Jesus in South Africa and Namibia. Interesting, isn't it? You probably didn't know that about me, but that's what I did from age 19 to 21 years old. Now, looking back, those were two fabulous years that I truly enjoyed because I had a massive work ethic and I did a lot of good. But at the same time, considering all of the stuff that I know now, if I could have gone back and had that same information, I probably would have done things differently to set myself up for success at an earlier age. Although those 2 years was phenomenal, and there are parts of me that I do not regret going at all. Having said that, when I returned, that was the time when I was going to start my adult life and do the things that were necessary in order for me to get rich. Okay, build up my financial foundation, but also get married. I was a virgin at the time and I wanted to get married and get married fast. And that's basically kind of what I did, but let's not skip through too many details yet. So, March 2007, I move in with my brother in Oslo, Norway, and 5 minutes away, guess what? There's a huge mall that has just been built. And my idea was to print out a bunch of A4 papers with my resume and go in there with a smile on my face and talk to every single shop owner until I got 3 jobs. I literally made that my goal. So when I talk about 3 jobs in the 80-hour work week in my videos, I'm literally telling you guys to do the same thing that I did in March 2007. I talked to all of those shops and I had 5 interviews that same week. I got 3 of the jobs. I worked at a sports goods store, I worked at a kind of a similar to Subway store, and I became a post office clerk. That's what I did. Now, I wish I had continued working like that for at least 12 to 18 months, and during that time span found a rich mentor who could train me in the ways of business so that I could start a business properly and become successful at that business and slowly but surely replace the worst job and then the next job and until I replaced the last job so that I could be financially free for the rest of my life. And that's what I always recommend to you guys. And guess what? That's not what happened. I had it in my mind that for some reason, in order for me to get rich, I need to go to business school. That was the stupidest idea I had ever gotten into my head. I don't know where it came from. I don't know who told me that. If they told me that, it was horrible advice, okay? But that's what I did. In order for me to get into business school, I had 1 year left of high school that I needed to complete. Why did I have 1 year left of high school? It's because I took my final year in Norway and went to America instead and graduated there, came back, and then they told me that last year in America didn't count because schooling in America is America. And so I had to finish my last year of school in Norway before I could get into college. An extra year, okay? Which is exactly what I did. I got into this private school. I graduated in Norway and I managed to get into a private business school in Oslo, Norway, next to where I was working and living. Fantastic, right? Kind of luxurious kind of setup. Except it wasn't. During that time frame, I also started a business that wasn't really... It is a business, but it wasn't really a business. And I was being mentored by ladies who I was not paying for, so basically I didn't really get great business advice continuously. But I started a business, a multi-level marketing business that in fact gave me a bunch of the skills that I have today, but it was a very slow way of me getting into business. because I did that while at the same time going to school, while at the same time trying to get married, okay? Trying to find a girlfriend, and I was desperately and needily looking, and they were rejecting me like crazy. And so I was completely and utterly diversified, like crazy, okay? That first year in college, I became class president because everyone was going up and saying, hey, this is why I want to become class president. This is what I'm going to do for you guys. And then I went up there and I basically sang Elvis, for crying out loud, say, oh baby, let me be your little teddy bear. And then everyone voted for me to become class president. So that's what I was my freshman year in college. In addition to getting straight A's because I thought this was my ticket to becoming rich. Then I finally read Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I actually began to understand what it actually means to become rich and what that process should look like, and how a college education is not going to take you there. It doesn't teach you squat about business. Business is sales and marketing. Business is learning from other people that are rich and then basically following the same procedure they did with a different idea, project, product, etc. I did everything wrong, guys. Okay? My second year of college, I ended up getting engaged. She broke up with me within a few weeks after our engagement, and then a few months later, I met my wife, and we became a couple. 6 weeks later, we got engaged. 6 weeks later, we got married. 6 weeks later, we got a baby, okay? So in summer of 2010, I got my first baby, right? Winter of 2012, I got a second baby. And then summer of 2014, I got a third baby. So at the same time as I'm trying to build up my future, I was putting on a massive load, okay? Having a wife with 3 kids, and she wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, and I wanted her to be a stay-at-home mom. It became extremely difficult for me to build any sort of momentum or financial foundation or anything of the sort. It was extremely difficult to also pay myself first, and I really didn't understand that concept properly for many years. Okay? You are put in a completely different circumstance. You don't have to do the same massive detours that I did, and this is one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about what I do, because I can help you to save 10 years of your life by not taking the same detours that I did. Schooling was a flippin' waste of time. Getting involved with women at this point in my life was a flippin' waste of time and created a massive burden. I love my wife, I love my kids, and I wouldn't ever want to live my life without them. But you gotta understand that from an objective perspective of me actually making that decision and so passionately wanting to get married at that period of time without a strong financial foundation was ridiculous. And I highly recommend differently for you guys in this day and age. Remember, I quit those 3 jobs after 6 months. I did have a massive work ethic, so I had that going for me, but it didn't lead to massive results. I had to take up a full-time job next to my last years of studies in school, and that full-time job kind of messed up the studies, but at the same time, I realized that year that studies were not going to make me rich, so I kind of didn't really care about that degree at all, and I'm so grateful that I quit my last year of school just simply out of rebellion to the system. It's messed up that people are telling us to go to school when school no longer creates wealth. If anything, it massively can take it away if you get into college debt, right? Just don't do that mistake. The procedure, the way to build up a fantastic life is to start early to begin the compounding game of learning business knowledge from someone who has that experience, and then massively compounding your income from multiple jobs and multiple income streams so that you can pay yourself first. 25%, 50%, 75%, 90% if you can. If you're living at home, you can save almost all of that money, but don't save the money, invest it into income producing asset, and your mind is the most important income producing asset, right? So over time, you can create that wealth, you can create the financial foundation, and once you do have, like, let's say 100K net worth, 200K net worth, that's the time when maybe you should take on a family, right? once you actually have gotten your freedom from a strong business understanding and acumen, right? So that you can move forward powerfully throughout life. That's what I recommend. What I did, I got it right when it came to the 3 jobs and putting in a massive work ethic, but I got it wrong on everything else. And fortunately, I went through and studied my entire journey, spent a decade trying to understand female nature, trying to understand how men are wired and what's most important to prioritize and what's the root cause of life and business success. And it is all of the things that I share on this channel. So I hope that you enjoyed that personal story. Make sure that you subscribe and like, of course, and let's build this thing together. The most important thing you can do is to get yourself someone who has experience and shadow them and learn everything that you can and build your business and soak up the information. But don't soak up general information from 100 different business leaders or read 100 books. You need one mentor. You need a community of like-minded entrepreneurs and then build life with them. That's what I wish I had back then when I started. I didn't. And this is one of the reasons why I've started this decentralized movement of men of high value. You're welcome to participate. Make sure you DM me at men of high value on Instagram. I'll see you guys in the next one.